Hey kids, so I've just been working on a track at the moment in the studio for one of my clients, and the track we're working on, which is really kind of inspired quite a lot of 80s sort of influences, but also stuff like Caribou, LCD Sound System, and slightly more kind of French stroke European kind of electro production, like also some old school early days house music production. So I've been looking at snare sounds and looking at how to find interesting drum textures that are a little bit more like the old days of sampling and using Akai's and using MPCs to find samples and then layering them to make interesting textures. So yeah, I'm just going to flip over to Ableton so show you what I've been doing. I've got one of the kind of Ableton drum kits, which is the core sound, which is what came with the track when the artist kind of gave me the session. Just kind of a drum machine snare sample, which has got a bit of spring reverb on it. Then I've got a couple of sounds which are from I've got a few sounds which are from the Jack Antonoff sample collection that he gave away. I use these a lot actually because he gave away a bunch of sounds that are recorded in his studio through mad bits of gear like an old Binson or an Echo Rec or a Space Echo and just tape and lots of mad things. He just gave away a ton of stuff, and I often find little snippets of those samples that have just got a cool sound, or they're nicely recorded, or, well, I say nicely recorded, they're really lo-fi. He's one of the world's best producers, so it's nice to have his sound. So yeah, got this kind of rim shot sound. It's got a stereo whip to it, and that tucks underneath the main snare. And then I've got the sound which is from my phone. A couple of years ago actually, I was down the pub having a roast and there was a Scrabble set and we played a bit of Scrabble. The sound of the Scrabble pieces in the bag, I sampled that on my phone. It's a nice kind of plasticky, scrunchy sound. So I sampled that with my phone in my voice memos, chucked it in my Dropbox of weird sounds to use, and then I've chopped a tiny bit of that to make this sound. And then I found this really cool loop from the Antonoff collection that I've chopped up. Very quiet in the mix, but really funky. And I've got a stereo snare. I don't know what this was, I can't remember. Lots of upper mid frequencies in that, and it's very wide. And then I've got a snare which is really big. This is a Jack Antonoff snare again. I've done some processing on it. I've chopped it out. It came as part of a loop, so I've chopped this snare drum from a longer loop. Very cool. It's got a lot of different textures. It's got low end, it's got punch, it's got snappy high end, and it's got width. And yeah, this is just the intro section. All of those snare sounds together, which I've got in a group. They sound great, and you know, they've got that real textured, interesting, non-standard kind of feel to them. So there's, you know, you can't kind of go, oh yeah, that's a drum sound from an 808 or a 909 or whatever. It's a real combination of different sounds. But yeah, snare layering, it's fun, and it's a really cool technique that I'm doing more and more of, especially for artists who don't just want to sound out of the box, you know, and want to experiment a bit, and that's what this guy does. So I hope that was helpful. Bye.